I'm going to tell you something that took me 82 years to understand. You are not going to live forever. You know that. Everyone knows that. But knowing it and feeling it, those are two completely different things. Because right now, you probably still feel like you have time. Time to fix things, start things, become the person you keep saying you're going to become. I felt that way until I was about 74. And then one morning I woke up and the math hit me differently. My name is Harold. I'm 82 years old. I have a bad hip, a good chair, and more regrets than I'd like to admit. I've buried a wife, 2 close friends, and a version of myself that never quite got off the ground. And I've been sitting with all of it long enough to see clearly what I did wrong and what I should have done instead. Pull up a chair. This is going to be honest. Some of it might sting, but I'd rather you feel a little sting now than a whole lot of grief later. Number 1, build money that works while you sleep. I worked for 38 years. Stable jobs, good jobs. I showed up on time, did what I was told, got my raises. I was proud of that. But here's what nobody sat me down and explained when I was 30. A paycheck is not wealth. It's just your employer renting your time. The moment you stop showing up, the rent stops. I never built anything that earned without me. No investments worth speaking of. No real estate. Nothing that grew while I slept. I was so focused on being good at my job that I never asked whether my job was ever going to set me free. I retired at 67, and within 3 years I was scared. Not broke, but scared. Every unexpected expense felt like a threat. I had a neighbor named George. Same neighborhood, similar income. But George spent his 30s quietly buying one small rental property, then another. By the time we were both 65, George had income every single month whether he got out of bed or not. He wasn't rich. He was free. There's a difference. Every year you wait on this, you hand back one of the most powerful tools available to you. Time in the market. Start now. One asset, one investment, one thing that earns while you sleep. Your retired self will weep with gratitude. Number 2, treat your body like it has to last, because it does. I was never overweight. I want to say that because this isn't about vanity. I was a reasonably trim man most of my life. I just never built any real physical foundation. At 52, my knees started going. By 58, stairs were a negotiation. By 65, getting up from a low chair took planning. I'm 82 now, and I think about this every single day. Here's what I wish someone had told me at 40. Your body keeps score. Every year you don't move, every year you sit too much, every year you eat carelessly, it accumulates. The bill doesn't come due immediately. That's what tricks you. You feel fine today, so you assume you'll feel fine tomorrow. I had a doctor tell me at 61 that 3 consistent years of weight training in my 40s might have preserved a decade of mobility. A decade. I'd have traded almost anything for that decade. Walk every day. Lift something heavy a few times a week. Eat food that came from the ground more often than food that came from a factory. These aren't complicated instructions. They're just easy to ignore until you can't ignore them anymore. Don't wait until your body makes it urgent. Number 3, choose your partner like your life depends on it, because it does. I was 28 when I got married the first time. Her name was Donna. She was lovely. We were comfortable together, and I mistook familiarity for compatibility. 2 people who didn't clash particularly hard. In my 20s, that felt like enough. It wasn't enough. We grew into strangers who shared a mortgage. We didn't fight dramatically. We just slowly disappeared from each other's lives. By my late 30s, I knew something was deeply wrong, but I stayed because leaving felt complicated. We divorced when I was 44. The cost was enormous. Half of what I'd built financially, gone almost overnight. Years of legal stress. Years of emotional wreckage that rippled into everything. My work, my health, my ability to trust. And my daughter spent years caught in the middle of something she never asked to be part of. I carry that. The people I've seen live with the most peace chose their partners carefully. They didn't just ask, "Do I love this person?" They asked, "Do I respect this person? Do we want the same things? Does this person make me better?" Those are slower, less romantic questions, but they're the ones that matter at 55, when the easy years are behind you. Who you choose to build a life with is the single most consequential decision you will make. Not your career, not where you live. Get it right, or get honest with yourself early enough to change course. Either way, don't sleepwalk through it. Number 4. Master one skill so valuable they can't replace you overnight. I worked in administration most of my career. Reliable, organized, steady. My bosses liked me. I thought that was enough. Then came the layoffs of 1987. The company restructured. I watched people I'd worked alongside for a decade disappear in a single week. A few landed on their feet. They had specific hard skills, technical knowledge, things genuinely difficult to replace. They got calls. They had options. I had reliability and a good attitude. Nobody calls headhunters looking for that. I survived that round, barely, but the fear never left me. And the sad truth is, I never did what that fear was trying to tell me to do. I kept being good enough, and good enough protects you right until the moment it doesn't. Pick one skill that the market will pay well for, not because it's trendy, because it solves a real problem. Spend 2 serious years developing it. Make yourself someone who gets called when things go wrong, not someone who gets cut when budgets get tight. That skill will outlast any job title. It will travel with you. Build it while the investment of time has decades to pay back. Number 5. Audit your friendships before they quietly audit your future. I had a group of friends in my 30s. Good men, funny, loyal. We'd known each other since our 20s. But when I started thinking about doing things differently, starting a small business, making bolder moves, I noticed something. They weren't exactly encouraging. Not cruel, just deflating. That never works out. Why would you risk what you have? Every idea I floated got a reason why not. And over time, I stopped floating ideas. I shrank myself to fit the shape of the group. It was easier. I stayed in that circle for another decade. And looking back now, I can see clearly how much smaller I became during those years. How many things I didn't try because I already knew what they'd say. Find people who are doing the things you want to do. Find people who respond to your ambitions with curiosity instead of caution. That circle will shape your next decade, whether you choose it consciously or not. The wrong people don't sabotage you loudly. They just quietly keep the ceiling low, year after year, until you stop noticing it's there. Choose your circle consciously. Number 6. Take the risk when you're young, because life keeps adding reasons not to. I had an idea for a business when I was 34, a small print shop. I'd found a location, run some rough numbers, talked to suppliers. For the first time in years, I felt genuinely alive. And then I waited for the right time. That's not quite true. I waited because I was afraid, and I told myself I was waiting for the right time. By 36, my daughter was born, and the risk felt irresponsible. By 38, we'd moved, and a new mortgage took priority. By 40, I'd talked myself out of it so completely, I almost forgot I'd ever had the idea. A similar business opened in our neighborhood 2 years later, ran successfully for 30 years. I drove past it regularly for decades, without ever telling anyone what I was thinking. Here is the truth I wish I'd understood at 34. Responsibility doesn't get lighter as you get older. It gets heavier. Kids, mortgages, aging parents, health costs, the weight accumulates. The window for bold, uncomfortable risk-taking doesn't stay open indefinitely. Take the shot while you can absorb missing it. The regret of trying and failing has a shelf life. The regret of never trying lasts forever. I know which one I'm living with. Number 7, record everything. The moments matter more than anything else you'll own. This one is the simplest, and somehow the one I feel most sharply now. I have almost no photographs of my parents before they aged. One photograph of my father as a young man. One. And I guard it like it's gold. I have no recording of my mother's voice. I cannot remember the precise sound of it anymore. I reach for it sometimes in the quiet of the morning, and it's just gone. That's a particular kind of grief I don't have the right words for. I have photographs of my daughter as a baby, but not nearly enough of the ordinary days. I have the birthdays and holidays, the posed moments. I don't have a Tuesday afternoon in 1975 when she was 3 and chasing the dog around the yard, laughing like the world had never been anything but joy. I didn't think to take that picture. I thought there'd be more days like it. By the time I understood what mattered, the camera was always somewhere else, and my memory was already beginning its slow unreliability. Record the ordinary moments. Record conversations. Take the picture that seems unnecessary. Write down the stories your parents tell you, even the ones you've heard before, because one day you would give anything to hear them one more time. The photograph of a Tuesday afternoon will mean more at 82 than anything you bought that year. Money I spent, I forgot. Moments I captured, I still have. Moments I didn't, I'll spend the rest of my life wishing I had. I'm 82. My world is mostly quiet now. When I sit here in the evenings, what comes back isn't the deals or the titles or the things I bought. It's faces. It's mornings. It's conversations I'm glad I didn't cut short. You're still in the part of the story where the pages are ahead of you. Build assets. Take care of your body. Choose your partner carefully. Build a skill they can't take from you. Curate your circle. Take the risk before life piles on. And record the moments. Don't wait until 82 to understand what 40 was for. You still have time. That's the gift. Don't treat it like it's cheap.